Hi guys, Jason here with Star Level Real Estate. First things first, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, comment on the video, share the video. Really appreciate it. Also, if you're on Instagram, you can follow me there as well at the Memphis Real Estate Shark. Alright, so in this video, like other videos, we're going to be discussing a property that I recently finished rehab on. Now this property is a buy and hold property. So this is one that you buy, you rehab, and then you rent out. So we'll continue the same format in this video as the others, and that I'll kind of talk about the history of the property, how I came to purchase the property, the numbers, and then some before and after pictures. Okay, this house, without a doubt, was the nastiest property that I've ever purchased. Possibly, well, I won't say that I've ever seen, but definitely one that I have purchased and been a part of the rehab. So this property, the owner, it was vacant. The owner of the property actually was from Australia, and a buddy of mine who's also an investor, he sent it to me, and went over there, took a look at it, saw how nasty it was, but I knew the potential. Now this particular area where the property is at, I've done flips over there, and I've also have a handful of rentals in that area, so I was familiar with it. Very nice property, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, fenced in backyard. I saw the potential in it. I saw anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 in repairs to get it ready for rent. So in case you didn't know, and definitely here in Memphis, there's a shortage of inventory. Out-of-state investors make up about 47% of the monthly sales. That's a lot. Okay, so Memphis is a hot rental market. You're competing with locals, in addition to out-of-state investors who, again, are paying cash for properties. So when he sent it to me, he already told me that he could have gotten a lot more for it. I ran the numbers on it, and he did get a few offers that were more than what he was going to sell it to me for. So he could have easily made about $4,000 more dollars, but he didn't do that. So he wholesaled it to me. He made a couple thousand off of it, but not as much as he could if he had sold it to someone else. And here's why. In this business, and in basically any other business, but especially in real estate business, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's really important that you have to network. Okay, be a man of your word, be stand up, and be honest when you're doing business. Again, I met this guy, I think about the first of the year through someone else, and we just kind of hit it off, had a lot in common, and we just kind of stayed in contact. He sent me some deals to look at. Didn't work out, but this one I definitely wanted. And again, he could have made about $4,000 to $5,000 more on it, but he sold it to me. Why? Because we had a relationship, and he saw that I was, again, hardworking, man of my word, and he wanted to help me out. So that's how I came into contact with the property. Now, how he came into it, like how I come into my other deals, is that through a targeted marketing campaign. Now, this property was vacant, okay, and the owner was an absentee owner. The owner was actually in Australia, so they purchased the property a couple years ago, hired a management company, and then they put a tenant in it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for whatever reason, so the property was vacant for about 2 years. Now the property was nasty. Okay, it had 2 holes in the roof. Because of that, the ceilings in those areas collapsed, so you can just imagine the smell. You'll see from the pictures. You can just put your mind around it how bad it smelled. But very bad. I don't know if the tenants kind of were evicted and just left their stuff, but we definitely, when I walked it with my contractor, I definitely had the feeling that maybe perhaps someone was maybe squatting there a little bit, because the back window was open and then the back door was open. So that happens from time to time when properties are vacant. You may have someone just kind of squatting there at night for shelter to sleep. So that's how I came in the process to purchase the property. It was supposed to close in about, I don't know, 10 days. It ended up being another 2 months afterwards. Reason being, the buyer from Australia had borrowed the money to purchase the property, some of the money. So we had to go through locating the person who had the lien on the property. We got that released and was finally able to close. It was an interesting process. The buyer, who was from Australia, has a lot of properties in St. Louis as well. So they flew into town to look at some of their properties in St. Louis, and we made arrangements for the notary to meet them at the airport to sign the documents and get it notarized so we can get this thing closed. So again, outside the box thinking, but we got it done. Okay. Rehab on this property took about 3.5 weeks to get everything done. Because once we, with rehabs and properties like this, you kind of find things that you didn't see on your first go around. But we didn't really have any major surprises on this one, thank God, because I've been running into a few properties. My last property just had some issues, so mainly with plumbing. So we've got lucky on this one. Nothing too major, and was able to stay within budget. So with that being said, I know you're tired of me talking. We're going to get into the numbers because that's very important. Remember, you don't make decisions in real estate based off emotion, or if you like the house, you base it off of one thing normally. The numbers is always look at one of the most important things, and of course the location. And there's a lot more variety of things you want to look at. I teach all that in the one-on-one 90-day coaching program. And if you have questions about that, you can send me a message at starlevelrealestate@gmail.com, or again, if you're on Instagram, you can follow me at the Memphis Real Estate Chart, and you can send me a message there as well. So with that being said, let's look at the numbers, and then we'll dive into the pictures. And I promise you, this is maybe the nastiest property that you have ever seen. Okay, guys. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so we're going to take a few minutes, just go over the numbers for this property. If you've been following other videos, you're familiar with this quick spreadsheet that I created. Gives me basically a snapshot of what I'm looking at as far as expenditures and what I'm looking to cash flow monthly and annually. So with closing cost and purchase price, it was $31,600. And then with my repairs, I estimated between 5 and 10. No major surprises as far as the rehab on this one, which was great, and came out to $6,550 for a grand total of $38,150. So with this one, I marked my market rent on this one to rent out is $695. Probably could have got about $7 or $715, but I always like to come a little bit under. When you're looking at the competition, a tenant may be looking at the competition, and I feel confident and proud of my rehab. So I like to come in a little bit below in hopes of giving me a competitive advantage. Then my property taxes on this one, and then insurance, then your management fee. This is an expense that you don't necessarily have to have, but I strongly recommend. And then I always suggest you take out 8% vacancy losses and 8% of maintenance costs. On this one, no association fees, and I really don't have anything other to put in here for expenses. So these are your expenses, monthly expenses here. Again, the management fee is optional, but I definitely recommend that you have that. So basically, monthly income, operating expenses here, broken down in monthly and annual. So your net operating income on this one is $412, and for the year $4,948. So it gives you a cash flow of $412 a month. So your return on investment on this and or cap rate, because it's a cash deal, is 13%. I'll do this deal again a million times. Depending on who, real estate invested is not an exact science. Some people like to get 8% and above cap rate. People like to get, I generally just like to get double digits, so 10% and above. Some people like to get 12% and above. So this is pretty good in my opinion. I'll do this deal all day. Okay, So not a bad deal on this one here. So let's go ahead and look at some of the before and after pictures.